Here we go again, Tony Marinaro of TSN 690, Martin Lemay, Energy. We're talking about what happened this week and what's going to happen this weekend. Tony, talk a lot about Piqué Subban, and we're going to get back to that subject. But yesterday, the Canadiens lost to the Senators. What were your observation of the game yesterday?
You know, for those who think that the Canadiens played a great game, and I listened to the press conference at the end of the game, talked about how the Canadiens dictated the pace of the game. They probably weren't opportunistic. They probably weren't lucky. I watched the game and I said to myself, which Montreal Canadian player impressed me? And yes, before Andrei Markov made that mistake, he was playing some real good hockey for the Canadiens, and Subban had his moments last night. But other than that, which players impressed you? Any forward? Any other defenseman? Carey Price was not to blame, but clearly he wasn't great either. Did the coaching staff impress you? I mean, what impressed you? I find that the Montreal Canadiens, for a team, I thought they were really going to get geared up for this game. You know, when they went out and they acquired George Parros. Marc Bergevin told me that the reason why they acquired Parros was because of the division the Canadiens were in. That means Boston, that means Buffalo, that means Toronto, that means Ottawa. After watching the line brawl last year and they got all absolutely obliterated, you would have thought Parros would have done something. You would have thought the guys would have been ready for this game. You would have thought the Canadiens would have out-hit the Ottawa Senators. You would have thought the Montreal Canadiens would have won this game in Ottawa. It wasn't going to erase what happened in the playoffs, but to prove something to themselves and to their fan base and to send a message to the Ottawa Senators saying, hey, you know what? We're going to be ready for you guys. I didn't think it was good enough.
I agree with you. The Canadiens brought Douglas Murray and George Parros for those kind of game who they need some physicality, and they play less than 3 minutes for Parros and less than 10 minutes for Douglas Murray. Yes, the Canadiens fell behind and they could play those players anymore, but the Canadiens were outside, were along the board to take those shots. They were not really dangerous shots. And even if Robin Leonard was all around the place because he was on his butt all night long, the Canadiens could score a goal. They could finish it. And it's very tough to stick around Leonard's goal because the defensemen of the Senator are so physical and so tough in front of the net. So the Canadiens were speedy fly all around the place, but they were not dangerous, as you said.
Let me ask you something. If you had a 1-0 lead, and the other team scored the next 2 goals and you trail 2-1, immediately following the second goal, would you put your fourth line on the ice?
No.
Well, then how does an NHL coach put his fourth line on the ice when Martin Lemay from Energy says he wouldn't?
Yeah, and yesterday at RDS, Benoit Brunet showed that clip right after that goal. It was showing how Ryan White was skating all around the place and was never at the right place at the right moment, and that came with that goal, the third one, who was tough to swallow for the Canadiens. But like I told you in French, I think there's a panic mode right now for the Montreal Canadiens with all that change line with Galchenyuk in center and not in the center anymore. Test him against the Blues, one of the best team, one of the best defensive pairing with Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester, one of the toughest one to play against. So I think right now all the decisions Michel Therrien is taking are not the right.
Rule of thumb, you don't break up a line that's working to try and get a line that's not working going. That doesn't make any sense. He should have kept Eller, Galchenyuk, and Gallagher together all along. At that time, what do I have here on my lip? Hold on a second. I had a shake, and I think I have something. Okay, it's gone. He should have kept Plekanec with Bournival and Brian Jonta. They were playing great hockey, and instead he ended up taking Desharnais out of the lineup. And then once he got back in the lineup, he put Bournival with Desharnais to try and get Desharnais going. You know what? Desharnais should try and get himself going. Never mind Bournival trying to get Desharnais going. Should have kept Bournival with Plekanec and Jonta.
Desharnais was good yesterday, but you know what? I'm wondering.
He was good.
What?
0 points, 0 shots, 0 hits, 20%.
You don't evaluate a guy with just a score sheet. You have to watch the game.
Okay, sorry. I didn't watch the game. Thank you.
Okay, but Michel Therrien, what's Michel Therrien asking to David Desharnais right now? Is he asking him to be a Brendan Gallagher, or are you asking him to be the same guy he was with Jacques Martin? That's the question I have right now. I heard you, I listened to you very much on TSM. I heard you a lot about Piqué Subban, the Subban gate.
Yeah.
Give me your last thought about Subban, because we can't talk about all this for another week.
You know, people are starting to talk about the fact that he gives away the puck in his own zone. Look, it's normal that he's going to give it away a little bit more than some of the other defensemen on the team because he has the ability to hold on to the puck longer. He handles the puck more. He makes more passes out of his zone. He doesn't ice the puck down the ice. He doesn't rim it off the glass. This is what you have. I mean, by that logic, Eric Carlson, that has more giveaways than PK Subban and more giveaways than Andrei Markov, would he not play for the Montreal Canadiens? You have to take the good with the bad, and in the end, put your confidence in your best players, knowing that they're going to make you win more games than they're going to lose. PK Subban should not have been on the bench for the final 4 minutes of that St. Louis game, and PK Subban should not have, going into last night's game, 22 defensemen ahead of him with more ice time per game. He's an all-star player. Let's start treating him like one.
He's gonna be an all-star player. You have some stuff to fix. Example, yesterday's first mistake at the beginning of the game, Markov was already gone. PK Subban can take the puck and skate with it, but he can't do it if Markov is already gone and he's the last guy behind. That's what the Canadiens tried to do with him, make him think about who's gone, who's left, how many times left on the clock. It's not about the mistake. It's when those mistakes are made. But I agree with you. Carlson made those mistakes. You saw him in the first period on Jonta. He got stripped from the puck, and he was on the ice right after. So I agree with you. I prefer the way of Paul McLean handle Eric Carlson than Michel Therrien does it.
Blue Meester made a mistake on the Bournival goal. He played 29 minutes.
Exactly. But I understand why they try to teach to PK Subban.
All right.
Talk to me about football a little bit. Canadiens don't play tomorrow, so all the places there for the Alouettes.
It hasn't been a great year for the Alouettes. The number one quarterback, Calvillo, of course, goes down with the concussion. Then you go to the number 2, and then you go to the number 3, and you go back to the 2, and you go back to the 3, and now you end up with the 4.
Yeah.
If I would have told you that at the beginning of the season that their a fourth-string quarterback would be starting a very important playoff game in Hamilton, you would have said, all right, forget about it. They're done like dinner. Having said that, their defense has kept them in football games and given them an opportunity to win. They're not going into New England to play the Patriots here. I mean, they're going to play Hamilton. This is a team that they can definitely beat. Their defense gives them a chance, and I think they're going to be able to squeeze out a win.
Exactly. The defense brought the Alouettes where they are right now, like you said about all those quarterbacks. But they play Hamilton, who can give the ball a lot when we think about Henry Burris. And I think the defense is going to do the job. And Smith throw the ball very well. It need to be more consistent. Why he throw the ball like hell.
So you're saying Henry Burris turns over the ball
a lot
more than Subban?
Not Subban again. Alouette's gonna win. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend.